I'm Ray Couture, and this is Astrological Perspectives. Hey, thanks again for taking some time out of your day, whatever it is you're doing with your life, spend a few minutes with me. And so, while I have you, I want to try and explain something about the view of astrology that I have. And it really is quite different than what the normal view or the usual view of astrology is, because a lot of people ask me about what is going to happen, what is the future, what are they going to do. And the reality is that an astrological configuration where planets are in the sky, an astrological chart, is really just a picture, a clear one, of the potential. And whether or not that potential is fulfilled really depends upon how awake people are who are in charge with the opportunities and the responsibilities for taking care of this. And so when you listen to this month's astrological report, bear in mind that the underlying reality is that we need to put everything aside and start taking care of our planet. In the meantime, I'm wishing you the very best. Thanks for joining me today. November 2018 begins with a Scorpio sun and rising. The moon, reflecting the authentic voice of the people of a country or the world, is in Leo. This is a perfectly clear depiction of an opportunity and a responsibility to resolve a number of conflicts at many levels, from the spiritual to the political. If this opportunity is properly understood and acted upon, it could result in a more positive outlook for the country and the world. Whenever Scorpio is rising, hard and real values are involved, with Taurus energies at the helm of relationships of all kinds. One significant factor is that there is not only a grand trine, but also a grand square involving the possibility of reviving both personal and global values and direction. But nothing is guaranteed, since the trines are creative energy that could be ignored and so used in negative ways. The November 6th midterm election in the United States shows a need for, but not a guarantee, of a meaningful turnaround. I will return to this later in the report. So now, if you know your rising and moon signs, please listen or read those as well, because they fine-tune what meanings and suggestions are available to you during this month. But remember that your issues can be used also to increase your awareness of how the world needs your attention as the planet is hurting. Aries, it is necessary to leave the past behind if you want to regain your relationship footing. New ways of valuing your life and self can help you manage changes underway. Taking control of your life means you must be authentic and willing to adapt to change. Revive your inborn, can-do, Aries, brazen, adaptable self, and go for it. Taurus, maybe it is only the day before or the day after, but now something is certainly happening. Your efforts have gained traction, but this is just a small part of a major reconstruction of your reality, which is now underway. If you focus on learning about your abilities, you will feel a fresh and new faith in yourself and your abilities. Gemini, you must decide about your values and your direction. Seems like a false choice between creativity and conflict. Tensions just below the surface push for a higher purpose in your life. You need to express your wants or needs honestly, despite some pesky anxiety about not being too sure about anything just now. Cancer, creativity and self-expression are the soul food of your life. The need now is to get control of this creative juice and give it some direction. Practical measures are needed to keep the focus on increasing your value. Your part in a group relationship needs to be kept rational amid potential emotional quicksand. Leo, pressure is on you and the ball is in your court. Authenticity and honesty are the way to stay in control of your life. Being liked and appreciated are fine motivators of good behavior, but spiritually they fall a bit short. Limit your act to what is practical and what will help you navigate toward more independence. Virgo, feeling unsure about changes in your primary relationship and how much you should depend on it for your psychological comfort is in store. Keeping your mind on more positive things will help. Some of your issues come from being overly critical of yourself and dissatisfaction with your progress toward your goals. Libra, reviewing how and why you value things in your life is underway, accompanied by an expectation or hope for a breakthrough in your finances. But you may be unsure or unaware about what that could mean for your spiritual growth. Financial improvements are not a substitute for having faith in yourself. Scorpio, finding a new direction has your attention now, but the coordinates are fuzzy. Looking within will help you revive your optimism, but you need to look around for the best fit in work where you can most easily employ your talents and skills. The overall reality is your need to rise above fears and conflicted feelings. Sagittarius, think about what you are doing and where you are headed. Your positive input and support of others will be needed, but keep your focus as practical as possible, and your challenge then is to lead even though there are no guarantees. Remain steadfast in the service of transformation while you sort things out. Capricorn, digging up old wants and reviving old resentments is not the best way to relax. You do worry a lot, but there are real challenges in your primary relationships now. Authentic words from you can provide leadership and help you control the process. Avoid arguments and try not to be overbearing with others. Aquarius, you need to be honest and not just change the subject. In some ways, your desires are working against you. That brings some confusion, some pain, but you have a chance now for transforming your base of values and operation. Controlling your part in relationships could result in improved sense of self-worth. Pisces, it all boils down to you, doesn't it? Time to recycle your emotions and inner frustrations. Martyr, you are not. Go to work on solving conflicts. Set some real boundaries to make your work easier. Provide service to those supporting change. Now here is a more detailed view from the broader perspective of the social and political reality. Remember, the spiritual reality of the unity of all life lies beneath everything that happens in life. Politics, at least in the U.S., makes open spiritual practice possible. One who has head in sand has you-know-what in the air. The overarching theme here is anchored in two major interactive aspects. One is the grand trine and the other is the grand square. The situation I describe applies for the month as a whole and especially to the midterm elections in the United States on November 6th. The trine in astrology has a reputation for being easy. Well, that is not the story in real life. The trine stores creative energy. In this case, there are 3 trines, all connected in triangular order to 2 planets and a point in space. It begins with Jupiter-Mercury conjunction trine to Chiron. And Chiron is trine to the north node of the moon, which is in Leo. This configuration asks for people to take control because of the suffering already experienced. This north node shows the effort required for this and is trine to the Jupiter-Mercury conjunction. So this grand trine provides a lot of creative energy that is powered by Jupiter in Scorpio, which is seeking the truth, as is Mercury in Sagittarius. Jupiter adds a sense that we individually, as a nation, and as a planet must learn to see what we are actually doing to the quality of our lives. If we see Jupiter as representing the higher, more abstract truth, then we can understand that our everyday consciousness is being directed toward communicating this truth to everyone. But the trine of the higher-minded Jupiter to Chiron shows we are hurt and in pain here and across the earth, but this trine stimulates inner strength. The Chiron, in turn, is trine to the north node of the moon. This makes creative energy available for use in the broader, major effort to regain control of our lives here and around the world. But all this creative energy is just sitting there, like it is stored in a battery. It has to be put to work. That work is shown by the 4 squares that are shown here. The south node of the moon is square to Uranus in Taurus. Uranus is square to the north node of the moon in Leo. The north node of the moon, which issues the challenge, is square to the retrograde Venus in Libra. Squares indicate a crisis that calls for some type of restructuring. When you have a 4-sided square, there is a call here for a total restructuring or realignment of those energies that are involved. In this case, there are 2 planets above the horizon and are public, and 2 are below, which is either personal or private. Venus is above the horizon and retrograde and in the 12th house of results. This Venus retrograde tells us we must put an end to the lawlessness prevalent in our social political life now. It is square to the north node, which presents us with a crisis of truth, and public policy must be anchored in authenticity, honesty, and truth. Responding to this crisis is a large part of the public work that is needed now. Below the horizon is the south node in Aquarius, square to the retrograde Venus in Libra, which is about to enter Scorpio, which shows a crisis between the Constitution and the need for reform. The south node is square to retrograde Uranus in Taurus. This is a crisis of values, which will have deep economic effects and shows the need for a kind of total transformation in our reality, covering all areas of life from the social, political to the spiritual dimensions on this planet. Now consider that the only items above the horizon are the moon and Venus. The moon is in Leo, in the 10th house of government or personal careers, and of course in a crisis mode with retrograde Venus in Libra in the 12th house of results. Here is the public crisis in a nutshell. Unless we expressly reaffirm structures of law that place the people above the government, we will face even more deconstruction of democracy, not only here, but also around the world. Spiritually minded people need to participate in a political life and follow the example of M.K. Gandhi and MLK. King Jr. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you're interested in having a reading, please contact me at www.astrologicalperspectives.net. For Astrological Perspectives, I'm Ray Couture.